Mark, congratulations on the film.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
You've not seen the final cut yet.
No.
But what have you seen so far, and what did you think?
I've seen rough cuts, and I thought, we accomplished our goal. Our goal was to make it better than the first, but also make it different, make it its own thing, and have that great combination of really kind of harsh, in-your-face humor, and with a nice balance of heart, and also now with the message as well that everybody should be treated equally.
There is a message, isn't there?
Yeah,
it really is at the heart of the film.
People over the head, but it's definitely there, and it's done, I think, in a very smart way. Ted becomes the voice for all those people who are being mistreated.
Yeah. Tell me when the idea first was mentioned to you about a sequel.
Well, God, they started talking about it right after the success. But Seth and I were, neither one of us had, engaging in those conversations. And then it wasn't until he thought about it and figured out an idea and a way to make it different, make it its own, and then he presented it with me, and I said, yeah, because the rule for sequels is you got to make it better than the first. You don't make it just for the sake of riding the wave until people don't want to see it anymore. And I knew once he told me the idea that it would be great.
Did the success of the first one take you? I mean, highest grossing R-rated film of all time. Did it take you by surprise, Mark?
Yeah, it was a huge surprise. I mean, we knew that we had something special and unique, but you can never anticipate that kind of success, and you always want to keep the expectations low anyway. And U.S. comedies don't translate, especially into foreign language territories. So it just became this phenomenon all over the world. I mean, even when it was working in various territories, I have a friend who was the head of marketing at Paramount at the time, and international as well. And I was like, we had Japan left. And I was like, what do you think about Japan? He's like, no, it's not going to work in Japan. It's not going to work in Japan. I said, well, it's worked in other Asian territories. What do you think? I mean, what are the odds? He was like, it's not going to work in Japan. They made $50 million in Japan.
Really?
It was became this huge phenomenon with teenage and high school girls, So, I don't know, it's just a sweet, cuddly teddy bear that can get away with saying anything and everything. And also the fact that, again, you balance that humor with that heart, and, you get emotionally invested in these guys and the relationship, and the bond and the brotherhood, and
It is that, isn't it? It is that buddy movie.
Yeah.
At the heart of it.
Well, I wouldn't read the script for the first one. I was pitched the idea, and I just thought it was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard.
Really?
And then it wasn't until I talked to another agent about another movie. He said, I heard you were doing Ted. I said, what is this Ted? So I said, I got to read it. Because Seth and I have the same agent, so I just think my agent's trying to push me into doing something with his client. I read it, and I'm like, put it down after 35 pages. I said, this could be the greatest buddy comedy of all time, or it could be a disaster. Very much like Boogie Nights, because you kind of forgot about the teddy bear thing. So I met with Seth, just like I met with PTA, fell in love, got it, knew he could bring this thing to life and execute it properly. And then I saw the test for the bear, and I was in. And then cut to, I'm now in the movie, and I'm trying to explain to my wife as we're driving to the Academy Awards what my next movie is. And she's like, you are an idiot. That sounds horrible. Your career is over. Enjoy this night, because that's it. And then, of course, I took her to the movie, and she could not stop laughing. I mean, she can't wait to see this one. My mom can't wait to see this one.
You're absolutely right about the sequel. It has to have its own story, doesn't it? Could you give us a little taste of what the audience can expect with this one?
Well, now you meet John. I mean, it was pretty telltale signs that the marriage with Laurie was not going to work. If she enjoyed marijuana as much as John, they probably would have had a chance of succeeding, right? But, so you meet John now, he's divorced, he's very depressed, and Ted's trying to get him out of this depression by introducing him to other women and get back in the game. Ted has not learned anything from John's mistake or experience, so he decides he's gonna marry Tammy Lynn to keep the relationship going. Honeymoon's over before it starts. Now he's like, okay, the only way to keep this thing going is to have a baby. I'm like, okay, how are you gonna have a baby? You got no dick. And he's like, well, I don't know, let's get a sperm donor. So then that's where the journey begins. And we can't get a sperm, well, I donate sperm, but Tammy Lynn is unable to conceive, so they want to adopt, and then they basically say, you're not a person, you're property, you're not allowed to adopt a baby. And then we decide we're gonna, sue the government for Ted's civil rights. And, we want equal rights for everybody. And that's where we start.
When you read the script and you see some of those scenes that are in there, do you think, oh my God, how are we going to do this?
Well, no, yes, but I remember reading up until the sperm bank, and I'm just laughing hysterically at the end result of the sperm bank, when it all goes horribly wrong. And then I said, wait a second, this is happening to me. I'm John. Oh, shit. I don't want to do this. I mean, it's brilliant, right? It's going to be hilarious. It'll be one of those standout scenes in the movie, but I don't want to do this. I don't want to have this happen to me. But then you got to actually go and do it. And I was just like, oh, man, what are we going to use? How are we going to do this? But it turned out to be a great moment. So,
is it fun on set when you do it? I mean, people think because you're making comedy, and it looks so much fun when we see it. What's it like on set with Seth?
Well, it's very technical with all the the aspects and the choreography and the movement of the bear and all that stuff. But we have a lot of fun. Seth and I have a lot of laughs. But it can be stressful too. It's work. But I always try to make sure I have a good time.
Do you think as well, Mark, that it's gloriously on PC? Which should it be? Should comedy be pushing boundaries?
I think so. I don't think you should be able to censor comedy. But for me, I have boundaries. I told Seth, anything with religion, I'm not going to say. Ted can say whatever he wants. He can get away with it. But for me, my own personal faith and beliefs, I don't want to go there. And he was like, no problem. So,
yeah.
You make your own personal choices.
Absolutely. And finally, how does it work on set with Ted, your co-star?
Well, basically, we'll talk about, okay, he's going to be here. If he's stationary, then we'll just have like a stick with 2 little dots for his eyes, so I have an eye line. But other than that, he's just not there. I'm just making pretend, and Seth's off in the other room watching what I'm doing while doing the voice of Ted. And then, 3 months later, boom.
There he is.
There. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.